So we're on the road from the lakes location that you've just seen on the last video, down south to within about 50 kilometres of Split, to another location recommended on various websites. When I was at the last website, the last lake location, I clicked on a link that said nearby attractions, and this was here, a Dakota Skyliner, and this place is basically a massive disused aerodrome, and there's more to it than that. So between 1949 and 1961, the largest underground air storage location built to withstand a nuclear device at the time was built in that mountain. It housed MiG fighters, and only when the war came about in 1991-1992 was to stop it falling in the hands of the enemy. They blew up the airbase as they retreated. They used 56 tons of explosives, collapsing all the walls in and collapsing the roof in so it couldn't be used by the enemy. And this is one of the only planes that's left. Look how many stickers are on it. Crikey. So the airbase itself cost $6 billion back in 1949 to 1961 to build. You can check it out on the websites. But yeah, this was a good find. I like stuff like this. I love abandoned stuff. We went to Iceland, and there's a crashed Dakota on the eastern shores of Iceland, and it's black. Black sand. Look who's there. Wendy. Hello. Yeah, so it does remind me of the Iceland location. Same plane as well, Dakota. Very good. Look at that. I love these kind of things, like abandoned military stuff. Yeah? She wants me to put my head out the top so she can take a picture. Out of the cupola, as it were. So that's what I'm going to do. Do what the lady wants me to do. There you go. Put my head out the cupola. And put the camera down a second. Yeah, so that's Wendy doing some photography. That's very cool to say. It's been here since, well, 91, 92 probably. It's a good tourist attraction. We never planned to come in. Like I said, this was just stumbled upon because there was a QR code on one of the signs as we waited for the bus, saying local attractions. Imagine this place, you know, behind us, being built in total secrecy. Miles and miles and miles of tunnels to store MiG jets to back up the Cold War, because that's what it's built for, the Cold War. Of course, when Yugoslavia was Still in existence. I'm going to take another piece of film from the front, and that's probably it actually. Ooh, the engines are still in, look. Turbojet engines. No, these are, yeah they are. Actually circular piston construction. That is so cool. For me. Maybe not for the watchers, but for me it's quite cool. It'd been quite noisy when it started up. Right, I'm gonna pause it there and just ask if we can get actually into the military base. You get nothing for asking, do you? So we've just caused a little bit of a stir, not intentionally. Down there is a drift session, you know, like a car drifting. And round there is security to stop people getting in the way of the drifting. Obviously you don't want people on the drift track when it's happening. But today there's an event on, which means you've got to buy tickets, and tickets are quite expensive actually. And we don't want a ticket to go to see the drift. We want a ticket to get into there, to turn down there and go into the mountain to see the old hangars. But what I will say is, if you were to go on the website, you can see where, you know, they blew up the various tunnels in the early 90s, and how they left it. But I think all this stuff is remarkable. The secrecy of the Cold War, pouring all that money into building it, and then obviously you get the split up of Yugoslavia, and when the war was raging round here, as they withdrew, they blew it up. All that money's worth. 56 tons of explosives. I bet it's a real labyrinth in there. I bet the tunnels go for miles and miles and miles. Obviously most of them are blown up. That was the whole reason of, you know, sabotage before they withdrew. It would have been nice to go down there, but today it's not possible. So we're going to get back in our motorhome and get on the road. Well, good morning from Camp Scradinska in the little sort of coastal town of Scradin. Still in Croatia. Got a non-travel day today, and these bays, last night were full. They all bugged out this morning. It was like a big French contingent, so, you know, a club. Which is kind of weird, because you go to bed and it's all really busy down here. I mean, they had some large motorhomes as well. You squeeze them in these small places, and then you wake up and they're all gone. We're lovely in the shade there. Really warm today. It was hot yesterday as well. We're going to visit waterfalls again today, and we're going to go on a boat, but more about that later. It's a non-travel day, like I said, today, so let's chill out, enjoy the activities. This is a lovely camp. These are the really clean showers. We like a clean shower, don't we? Everyone likes a clean shower. Clean toilets, clean showers, everyone likes those. Morning. And there's a washing area around here. Gents' toilets round to the left. Down there. And a lovely clean washing area, look at that. And this place is 2026 prices, it's let me see now, €35 a night, which is not bad considering where we are. I mean, if I was to, we walked into town last night and it's literally a 10-minute walk to the harbour side. Like I say, we'll take you down later, but for now I just want to show you around this campsite because it's really nice. So the motorhomes I was telling you about round the corner are that size, so it's like Jenga in there. The camp's just down that road down there. There's actually a side road to the right hand side that goes into the village. You get the usual things in here, you know, the grey water, fresh water, and black water, black waste. So that's black waste goes in there. So we'll probably top up tomorrow as we leave. When we leave tomorrow, we're heading up to Livno and Glamoch, but I'm going to tell you about that later when we finish today's activities. So from Camp Stradinska in Scradin, we're going to now crack on with the activities. So as you're on your way out of Camp Stradinsky, what can you see in the corner there? Well, if you look hard enough, you can see a porter cabin with UN on the side of it. So that's been here since pre-95, when the UN was here. It's just, when you look hard enough, there is evidence of what's left over. So this is the way into Camp Stradinsky. You get another lovely little reception on the right hand side there. You pay on your way out. It is cash, so if you're going to come here, bring cash, but there are cash points in town, and that's where we're going to today. We do love a waterfall. Lakes and waterfalls really appeal to us, so we're going to have a walk down into town. I'll probably show you the harbour side of Scradin, and then we'll take you on board one of the boats. So as we're walking into town, I just thought I'd remark about how clean the toilets were. It's something I was thinking of when I was in the toilet. For those ex-squaddies who watch this, there's nothing better than a porcelain potty, is there? Now don't get me wrong, if I was caught short, I'd just get me entrenching tool out and go into the woods and do what you got to do. But I think it's just as a result of being on probably, well, let's say just 40 years worth of exercises in Canada and Bathurst and Germany and Poland. I could go on, Belize, loads of places. Otterburn, yeah. And when you go to the toilet outdoors in Otterburn, it's pouring down usually, so that's a whole different angle, a whole different threat. You've got to keep your toilet paper clean, don't you? Sorry.
Dry.
You've got to keep your toilet paper dry. Yeah, so when there's a chance to go to the toilet before you go out for the day, you take advantage of that, and especially when it's really clean. Wendy's shaking her head. She's horrified with me talking about things like this, but
No, I just don't think people need to know about your
daily business.
Yes.
But the God's honest truth is I really don't care. And actually, like I said, for the squaddies watching this, you'd be like, yeah, you're right.
Yes,
Porcelain,
humour.
this porcelain potty at the beginning of the day beats everything else hands down, especially when it's super clean. You know what I mean? So this is a road into Scradin, down to the port, and you follow this down for about 10 minutes. It was quiet last night, it's quiet again today. It's all geared up for tourism, but I suspect we're just on the shoulder of the tourist season because it's busy but not overflowing, which is what we like. We do like coming on holidays in the shoulder seasons. And as you walk down here, you can see the history. You've got to look above the shops. You've got to look above all the places on the low levels that have been done up. And then you take a look up and it just happens I'm walking past one that's been totally done up. But down here on the right hand side, there are really, really old facades. Perhaps I'll show you in a bit. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's like a bunker, that, isn't it? We did pass a few houses with remnants of bullet marks from the war, you know, in the early 90s yesterday as we were driving down, but there wasn't much. But I mean, as far as Croatia is concerned, really it was the Battle of Dubrovnik and the Battle of the major ports with major infrastructure that took place. Please, if I'm factually incorrect on this, by all means comment, but this is just my memory that I'm going through. Yeah, so there's the Battle of Dubrovnik, and then, like I say, other resource infrastructure based battles. But when we go into Bosnia tomorrow, we'll start seeing some more of the actual places that I was based at in 1996. Morning. Dobar dan. So what you can see behind us is Scradin harbour with all the posh yachts parked up. We've got on the little boat and we're taking a scenic trip up to the waterfall area. So as we move sort of inland from Scradin on this little boat that we're on, you can see the size of the boat as they're all coming towards us. In the distance you can just see the start of the waterfalls, which is where we're going to head to. So you can now see a closer view of the waterfalls in the distance. I think we're going to dock shortly. So we've just got off the boat down there. It has to be said, it's very busy. We like things less busy, but this is one of the main tourist attractions in this area. So it's going to be busy. And it's going to get busier as the season moves on. So we're in June now and it's 30 degrees today. So it'll probably get hotter as the season moves on, July, August, and then cools down again. Coming to the main attraction, which is the waterfalls. You can actually walk up and around these waterfalls, and there's a monastery you can take another boat to. Once you go on the higher levels. But, just trying to find a... In fact, actually the bridge over there is probably the best place to take a picture. We didn't see it all, but...
We'll go across the bridge.
Yeah, we'll go across the bridge. Do you want to do that now? So you're going to have a walk across the bridge now. It is quite spectacular and it's nice. We like waterfalls anyway, so this is lovely. This is a massive waterfall. It creates a little nice draft with it as well. Again, quite Instagram heavy, but it's going to be in it. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. Quite lovely.
My dad would be interested in that too, like
It would well, wouldn't it?
pumping station.
So Peter Roberts, Wendy's dad, will be interested in the pumping station and the engineering behind it, how it works. Whereas everyone else, no one's looking this way. Everyone's looking the other way. But look how clear the water is. It's got a nice smell to it as well. Nice fresh smell. It's very warm today. 30 degrees. See, Wendy's so tiny when she attempts a selfie. She's got to have a camera about 9 foot above her. She's coming now. This bridge is quite bouncy, but the last time we walked on a bouncy bridge, you remember the last location, the camera did its magic and eased out all the bumps, so I'm hoping it's going to do the same this time.
You know where stop by and get the big body pool.
Yeah. So what Wendy's on about there is, we used to go to Omano. Wendy's parents used to live there, and these rocks under the water are like the base of the wadi, and you could actually, when the water level was low, you could drive vehicles up the wadi. It was called wadi bashing, and you'd go as far as a pool, and you'd go swimming and have barbecues and such forth. It's really nice, isn't it? How cool is that? Loads of tours going on. Like I said, it's one of the most visited places in southern Croatia. We're only 30 miles from Split, not even that probably. So trust me to notice the odd things. But this is an old fallage, and this is what brought the water down the side of the mountain in the olden days to supply water to probably the building on the left there. But that fallage has been replaced with a pipe. But much more exciting to most of the people is this. Isn't that beautiful?
What a strange smell.
Yeah. The amount of, well, a couple of days ago it rained heavy, so it'll have topped it up. Wendy. There you go, I think we're on. The waterfall does produce electricity, and that's one of the old turbines. So this building, this old building here, has been replaced by a newer one down the valley. 1895 it started. Yeah. When they're going to get a photograph and send it to the dad. Love that. So that's the route of the boat. Or little, I suppose it's a passenger boat, isn't it? And that's where you dock. That's that really busy place we were down in the bottom. And then you come up about 3 levels of waterfall. And you treat it to this. There's many levels going up, up and up. Obviously every level incurs steps. And this place is not disabled friendly, I'm afraid. There is, God, what can I explain it? A cobbled path. In the politest terms, going up the side of the steps.
There's a lookout over there, look. There's a lady on it.
Oh yeah, you can see the lady on top of the wood lookout over there.
There is another walking that way, look.
Yeah.
So maybe we can cross and go back down that way.
Yeah, we'll have a go at that. I think that's a nice view that way, Wendy.
It is.
Lovely. Wendy. I think we're going to try and get that in there. There we go. Right. It is quite warm today, so you may hear me out of breath. It's quite a while since I've done any PT, if I'm honest, having left the army now. And when the heat's up and there's steps involved, then it takes you out of me. Let's have a quick look down here and then we will wander around. We're quite good at wandering. Every now and again we take a rest in the shade, sit down, get our breath back, like many other people do. Oh, that's hot. But careful, that's hot. Should be a health warning for that rail there. It's looking hotter than the sun. You really are treated to some fantastic views. And that springs into view, makes it all worthwhile. And we've decided what we're going to do. We are going to stop for a beer, because it makes sense. And then we're going to walk around the head of the waterfall. And on that path there. And then all the way back to the bottom again. So we've now got a plan. Until now we were just wandering. Yeah. So we just had a couple of beers in there. You can see the remnants of our glasses there. Just chilled out for an hour. It was nice. Not cheap though, but nice. And now we're gonna crack on and walk around the head of the waterfall. Down the path you can see the people there on the opposite side, down the bottom. So right at the top of the waterfall, the head of the waterfall, is the bridges that cross. And it's really oldie-woldy, but they've done up. You can see what used to be a water wheel there. Yeah, it does now. But we're going to go this way. So as you walk around the head of the waterfalls, as it were, you don't
walking around this bit, then cutting across, it's much nicer.
Yeah, it is. You go, it's not just one river that goes under. It's like a multitude of rivers coming from each different direction, and sometimes you walk across the bridge and at one point the water's going one way, and you walk about 2 meters and you look down and it's going the other way. It's quite weird actually. It doesn't meander at all, it's following quite a force. It's lovely to look at because there's loads of fishes, and there's a dragonfly as well. We're going to go left here. Are we going to go left here?
No, because that takes you back.
Yeah, we'll go this way. So this goes on for about 200-300 metres. So it's really, really wide at the top to cross. And it's this lovely raised path. But it's quite deceiving. I thought it would just be like one river feeding all the waterfalls, but it's not. It's literally 200 metres, 250 metres worth of these little streams going to feed the waterfalls.
Oh, then sat on that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what we're looking at there is a dragonfly. You may or not be able to see it. They've got purple wings. It's easy to see on the eye. It's a real neon blue. So we're just making our way down the other side. And, you know, I treated to the most beautiful waterfalls all the way down, and the risk is that I get all the waterfalls on the camera and you get bored watching it. So I'm trying to restrict you to the best ones, really. Yeah, there's another one, but you know, another one becomes another one. Okay, so I said that I'd only cover the most impressive waterfalls so as not to bore you, but this is quite impressive, isn't it? And you follow it all the way down the valley, across the bridge and down where we're going to walk to. That's that hydro station just across there that we were at, and probably the pub is just about over there. This is well worth the trip. So we've just come from around the top there, down lots of steps, and we're following it all the way down the valley. So that's us back in Scradin, back to the port. What a lovely day. I would highly recommend that to anyone who's got the time to visit Scradin. And obviously we stayed in Camp Skradinski with our motorhome, but as an activity for a day out, that is really nice and well worth the visit, and well worth coming to this part of Croatia. We had the weather, yes, we had the weather, but hopefully if you were to visit, you'd have the weather as well. But from Scradin, we'll catch you on the road.